Oh my goodness.
Week 2 and a picturesque, perfect evening for high school football. I'm Mike Pete, and here I am all by myself talking to myself. That's Chaos Theory. These two teams will look to settle the chaos and pick up their first win of the season. The Tartan Titans and the Highland Park Scots here at Tartan High School in Oakdale, a campus that has seen extensive renovations over the last couple of years. Tartan will wear the blue jerseys. They will receive to begin this game. Highland Park will wear the white jerseys. Armando Carroll will kick things off. We will get you up to speed as we move along. Neither team posted their week 1 stats, so we don't have a whole lot to share with you on that end, but we are ready to see a potential preview of a section game. Back to receive for Tartan is Logan Flaw on this kickoff. As we get underway, the kick ends up going into Joe Varner's hands. Goes middle, now looks for a seam up the left side, looking to turn the corner. This is a solid return as Varner is pushed out of bounds past midfield near the 40. No flags, so a solid return for Joe Varner. Charles Grasky is going to be the quarterback. And they spot the ball at the 43-yard line. Here's a look at the kick return. Got good blocking and went left. So a short field here for Tartan on their first series. It's 1st and 10 at the Highland Park 43. Again, we'll get names and numbers as we make our way through. Devel Sum in motion for the Titans. Handoff for the first play from scrimmage, and getting through a couple of tackles for a solid gain is number 4, Gerard Borsay. He brings the ball to the 38-yard line for a gain of 5. And then Charles Grasky, the quarterback. Tartan got run over effectively against Cretin-Durham Hall, losing that one 34-6 last week. Highland Park lost a shootout with inner-city rival St. Paul Johnson, 38-35. Grasky under center again. Standard I on 2nd and 5. And once again, it's a handoff to Borsay. He finds the edge. He turns upfield, and Borsay stays in bounds for the almost touchdown. No, one of the line judges called him out of bounds. Borsay had me fooled for a minute. You're not going to fault him for trying to make something more, but he does pick up 20 and a first down. We'll take another look. It's going to be a little tough to tell from that angle, but I trust the official's judgment. A 20-yard pickup, and so far for Borsay, 25 yards on the ground. This time it's a pitch as they change things up at the running back position. Finding holes, breaking a tackle, and now it's a touchdown. Brian Salo. That caps off a 3-play drive, and in 1 minute and 6 seconds, Tartan is on the board on the touchdown run by Brian Salo, the 5'11" senior. Highland Park's defense akin to Swiss cheese on that first series, but we have a long way to go. The extra point is through. Liam Ebenhoek makes it a 7-0 game with 10:54 left in the first quarter. And before we had a chance to really get to know Tartan, they're already up We'll see what Highland Park can do for a response as we continue in this one. This game a slightly earlier start than your typical high school game, a 6 o'clock kickoff time. So we'll be dealing with the setting sun throughout most of this game. I stand corrected on the drive time, by the way. It was 57 seconds. 3 plays, 43 yards, 18-yard run by Salo. Tartan's running game. Hoping to improve. Tartan as a whole hoping to improve. Cretin-Durham Hall trying to build their way back up as well. Ebenholk will kick things off. Highland Park led by Dave Zaitchik, 21st season. He's been a long-time fixture for the St. Paul School. Kick is fielded by Eric Reed. And he doesn't have much room to work with as he is tackled at about the 24-yard line. Whitfield Adams with the tackle. Here are the starters for Highland Park. Jonas Sadowski, the quarterback. They run 3 running backs in the primary formation, so you'll see Isaac Johnson, Joaquin Lechuga, and Eric Reed. Will Walter, the lone wideout. Emmanuel Gajati, the tight end. The offensive line, Armando Carroll, Antoine Brown, Teddy Dickey, Gus Mastrud, and Marcus Tupi. Again, Highland Park lost a shootout with Johnson. They have their work cut out for them here as they go to the ground on their first play from scrimmage. Isaac Johnson gets it to about the 29-yard line for a gain of 5. Will Jackson with the stop. Sadowski under center. He's got 3 backs. Again, that's part of the primary Highland formation. Needless to say, as Johnson runs through the pile to pick up a few more yards to the 32, that will make it 3rd and 2, excuse me. Highland's success will be dependent on that ground game. Now, having 3 backs at their disposal should help with stamina, endurance, and the like. But if Highland has to resort to the passing game, that could be a little trickier to uncover. Tartan with a 4-man front. Sadowski under center, 3rd and 2. It's a pitch. And getting more than enough for the first down is Johnson as he broke a tackle. The stiff arm got him the 2 yards he needed. It's a pickup of 4. And that will move the chains for the Scots of Highland Park. Of course, Highland Park, you may recognize them as the alma mater. Some notable athletes. As we take another look, just a power move on that option play for Johnson. This time they go right. Tartan wasn't fooled. They do get a couple of yards out of it. And 2nd and 8. Will be the ruling. Highland Park picking up yards in small bites. Handoff up the middle. Reed swallowed up. I stand corrected. That was Johnson. He gets it to the 39-yard line, a gain of 1, and that's going to put Highland Park in a 3rd and 7 situation. Jack Morris was one of the athletes I was referring to from Highland Park. He, of course, won a few World Series, perhaps most notably the 1991 edition with the Minnesota Twins. Right now, Highland Park facing 3rd and 7, and And this is where that ground game can be a problem if they can't get forward yardage. Pursuing for the sack is number 6, Caden Akarike, the 6'5" senior, chasing down Sadowski. And Highland Park will have to punt. You see the tail end of that play from our field cam. Lining up to punt will be Antoine Brown. Logan Flaw will await to receive it. Tartan figures to get solid field position here. But again, Highland Park, if they can't get enough yardage on those run plays, that can put them in a tough spot in those long distance situations. Brown with a booming kick. That will take a Highland Park bounce. Flaw thought about fielding it. He'll let it roll away. A solid punt for Brown. And it will be a deep field for Tartan. They will start their next series at about the 14. 7:02 left in the first quarter. Other players for Tartan to keep an eye on: DeVille Sum, Isaac Wu and Jack Befolk, the wideouts, Raheem Shabazz and Jared Borsay, the running backs, Lamont Smith and Caden Akarike, the tight ends. Here's a look at Highland Park from Northstar Twin Cities. Two Rivers led the way. Again, they do the district conference alignment. It's not like other sports, as we get a screen pass here from Tartan on first down. And taking it upfield for a few yards is DeVille Sum. He's tackled just past the 20. Our first passing play from either side, and it is a 7-yard pickup for DeVille Sum. DeVille, the 5'11" senior, nobody was on him. So an easy choice for Charles Grasky. Micah Bryant, Brian Salo, Malik Hassan, Logan Flaw, Joe Varner, all players to keep an eye on. They don't have a starting lineup per se. They highlighted players that will likely see snaps. They go to Borsay. Add a few more yards as he goes into the pile to the 25-yard line. It will be a 4-yard gain and 2nd and 6, or I should say first down. Samuel Meyer, another one. The linemen include Letarian Brown, Will Jackson, Rocco Verdeja, Adrian Shane Thaler, Jay Sams, Max Benson, and Sean Nagu. So those are all the players for Tartan who figure to get reps, snaps as this game moves along. 1st and 10 for Tartan at the 25. Delayed handoff and plenty of room up the middle. Bulldozing his way for a few yards more is Borsay. Tartan picking up another first down. Borsay had a couple of big runs in the first series, including that 20-yard scamper that set up the touchdown run by Salo. Borsay thought he had it all. As Grasky's under center, Borsay dodging tackles again. That gives him plenty of room as he goes into that second level once more. A 9-yard gain. And Gerard Borsay is doing this. As you take a look at some of the players to watch for Tartan. Second and 1 from the 44. Borsay making people miss. On the ground. An astute ground game so far for the Titans. Borsay with another carry. No, it's a play action. Grasky's pass incomplete. And the officials having a quick chat here. I don't know if Grasky got out of the tackle box. And no, he did not. The referee going for his pocket, throwing the flag. That will be intentional grounding.
Offense, your 5-yard penalty, loss of down.
So you heard 5-yard penalty, loss of down. We do have a microphone on the official. You can't hear him in the stadium, but we can hear him in the booth. Grasky was under pressure. He had 3 defenders on him, threw it away. And he made no effort to get outside the tackle box, and I don't blame him per se. When you're evading a sack, you're not necessarily worried about that, but from up here, he wasn't anywhere outside the tackle box, and there was no Tartan player in the vicinity of his throw. So again, that is a 5-yard penalty and a loss of down. That will make it 3rd and 6. From the 36-yard line. Actually more 3rd and 8. So this will likely be a passing play if Grasky is able to find someone, and he does. That's Caden Akereke, who turns a long 3rd down into a 1st down. So Akereke to the 41. A 23-yard pickup. And Grasky channeling a page out of Lamar Jackson's playbook last night if you watched the Chiefs-Ravens game, but there was a flag on the play. Oh, Grasky, that's what it was. He was ahead of the line of scrimmage. That was a heck of an effort, and initially I thought he was okay. But he went ahead of the line of scrimmage.
4th down on the box, 4th on the box.
So take away that completion, and that's a loss of down as well. A reminder that at this level, as Tartan lines up to punt, a couple of penalties on Grasky unravel that drive. Once your body is completely ahead of the line of scrimmage, you cannot make a forward pass, and Grasky, as you saw on that replay, was scrambling to avoid Highland Park's defense. They'll call a timeout. Perhaps we can take another look and point this out to you. What would have been a 23-yard pickup was negated by the penalty, and then that compounding the earlier flag on Grasky for intentional grounding. So when it looked like Tartan was going to be on the move, here's another look. So the line of scrimmage is at the 36. Watch Grasky. From that angle, looked like his body was completely ahead. It certainly looked that way when he released the ball. And when you're scrambling like that, you sometimes lose sight of your surroundings. So Highland Park should get good field position as the Tartan drive stalls. Let's see what they can do on the special teams play. It's a short punt. Barely any air at all. Highland got to be careful. Uh-oh. Armando Carroll falls on it. Number 7, Emmett Riemenschneider, tried to make a play, and I don't know if he thought maybe someone touched it. But that punt was shanked, and Highland Park, they will start at the 32-yard line. 3:45 to go. Here's another look, and I don't know if the wind just put a stop on it, but it looked like it was going to take an arc downfield and instead got caught upfield, caught upwind. So Highland Park with their best field position, they ended up gaining a few yards on that punt, but it's up to their running game again to see what they can do with it as Isaac Johnson picks up a couple of yards with another forge through the pile. We have seen some strange twists in this first quarter. A pair of penalties on Grasky, intentional grounding, and then illegal forward pass. As the fans slowly make their way into Tartan, there is still some construction going on amidst the extensive renovations. It's 2nd and 8 for Highland Park. This one will be a keeper for Sadowski. Finds some blocking and gets a few more yards to the 26. That will make it 3rd and 4. And in this area of the field, you have to consider 4-down territory. Again, the kicking game at this level not quite as reliable as college and the NFL. It's a little more random, haphazard. If you've got kickers, of course, you'll use them, but usually you see a lot of 4-down territory situations when you approach the red zone. So 3rd and 4. A hole that is closed up quickly. Isaac Johnson gets 2 more yards out of that. That will make it 4th and 2. You presume Highland Park will go for it here as we approach the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. This campus getting a big facelift. Tartan's got a video board now. Of course, we got to cover some games at their indoor gym last winter. And I presume we'll make a few more visits this season. 4th and 2. Highland Park will go for it as we expected. And it's Johnson again. Can he get enough of a push? I don't know. He needed to reach the 22-yard line. And now that I see where the spot is, it looks like it's at the 21, so Johnson got just enough for the first. As you see on the replay, he ran into a Tartan lineman and just churned forward. That extra push, that extra lunge likely got him the yard or 2 he needed. No explosive plays out of Highland Park yet, but they will get another set of downs with less than a minute to go in the first quarter. And with these two teams being run heavy, this game should go quickly. It's a play action for Sadowski. Under pressure. He was hit as he threw. That will be an incomplete pass. And that will bring up 2nd down. He was hit as he released the ball, so no intentional grounding in this case. But Jonas Sadowski, a 2-year starter, having to fend off a barreling barrage of black and blue. Second and 10, and again, this is probably 4-down territory anyway. They go back to the ground game. It's number 5, Eric Reed, who turns the corner. Nearly had a touchdown. Went the wrong way, but he does get a gain of 11, and that will make it 1st and goal for Highland Park. Take another look at this. Eric Reed, the sophomore, had some blocking help from number 44 of Highland Park. Number 44 not listed in our roster. And that gave him an extra push. We'll see if Highland Park elects to run one more play before the quarter ends. 15 seconds, it looks that way. 1st and goal. Johnson into the pile again. Pushing forward. Getting a couple of extra yards as a result, and that will give Highland Park 2nd and goal from about the 4. As we end the first quarter with Tartan up 7-0, but Highland Park knocking on that proverbial door. We'll flip the field, of course, so we're going to go to the other end, the right side from our vantage point, as we reach the end of quarter number 1. Highland Park featured in the St. Paul Pioneer Press yesterday, a feature on lineman Armando Carroll, who was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, rare for his age. That took Carroll off the football field for a time. There he is. He's hoping to pursue a career in mechanical engineering and is thinking about taking up baseball at the college level in some capacity. But his cancer was follicular lymphoma. It affects only 3.5 out of every 100,000 people. Extremely rare for a teenager, but they were able to detect it, remove the cancerous tumors. It brought a sense of joy and relief as we take a look at some of the highlights. There's the touchdown run by Salo that made it 7-0. And this is not necessarily a highlight for Tartan, but one of the key plays. This took away a third down conversion. That was Grasky, again, getting in front of the line of scrimmage. So that play you saw just a moment ago was an illegal forward pass, and Highland Park on the drive right now. Jonas Sadowski and most recently Eric Reed among the many who are marching this Highland Park team downfield. Dave Zaitchik was joking with Tartan's head coaches about going easy on us. Well, Highland Park not making this an easy one for Tartan. 2nd and 4, and again, I don't know how accurate their kicking game is, so I presume this is 4-down territory. And they've got that triumvirate of running backs. This time Sadowski will keep it himself as he crawls forward to the 1, maybe the half-yard line. Carroll, he plays both offense and defense. One of the team's best linemen. And he handles the team's kickoff duties, as we saw at the start of the game. I love playing sports. I love being outside, is what Armando Carroll said. And I have a fun little side note to that story, which I will talk about here once we witness the conclusion of this drive. But it's 3rd and goal from about the half-inch line. Sadowski tackled just shy of the goal line. I thought I saw a flag, and I do see a flag. It was thrown by the line judge.
So it'll be half the distance, remain 3rd down.
Offside. There's also a Highland Park player down on the field. I can't make out his number from here. The yardage virtually non-existent, but it does give Highland Park an extra down. So it will be 3rd and goal from, I don't know, the 1 centimeter line. Here's another look. No way to tell where Tartan was lined up there, but again, the distance, not a factor. When you're at the 1 yard line, it does give Highland Park an extra down. And that could be vital as well when you're dealing with these goal-to-go situations. And that's a good sign. Ooh, that was Jonas Sadowski. You'll have to sub out for at least 1 play because the clock stopped. That's your quarterback. So we're going to see someone else take over for him, at least on this play, or no, he's in the huddle. I see what Highland, no, they didn't take a timeout either. Okay, Sadowski's going out now. Leo Clifford will step in. Now we have an official stoppage with 10:53. Again, by rule, if the clock stops for an injury, the player involved has to sit out for at least one play, and that's at any level.
Making sure the injured player was removed.
And there you hear the referee saying the injured player was removed. So again, Leo Clifford will take this snap for at least one play on 3rd and goal from the 1-inch line. And the ball was knocked out. Tartan recovers. And I believe it will be a touchback. It will depend on where the ball came out and where they recovered it. But a fumble, and remember, Highland Park, they had to send in a cold quarterback, Leo Clifford, because Sadowski had to leave the field for the injury stoppage. Here's another look. They were going for Johnson, and it looks like just a botched exchange. It was recovered in the end zone, so it will be a touchback for Tartan. A bonus, so they get the turnover and they'll get some breathing room. No points for Highland Park, and you certainly aren't going to hold Sadowski responsible for that, but you wonder if he had been able to stay in, how that play would have turned out. Again, when you have to send in somebody who wasn't expecting to play, at least not at this stage of the game, that can produce some wild outcomes. So Highland Park comes up empty on that drive on the lost fumble, owing to the bad handoff. Now we'll get to see Borsay and company try to right the ship after their last drive stalled. What a game already. A pair of penalties stalled the earlier Tartan drive as Borsay picks up a couple of yards on that play. And then Highland Park at the 1-inch line fumble it and don't come up with any points. A 9-play drive, 67 yards, but all for naught. 2nd and 8 for Tartan following the 2-yard pickup by Borsay. Highland Park jump, got back in line. And the pass underthrown. I think Highland Park, they say they got it. And they do. Highland Park with the interception. They call it a fumble. Either way, Grasky was just blitzed relentlessly. Oh, he just lost it. It wasn't knocked out at all, and I think the first player to get there for Highland Park was number 63, Soren Mattis Castillo. It's a fumble, and Highland Park will start at the 18. They started their last drive, I think I misspoke. They started at the Tartan 32. This one, they will start at the 18. Oh my goodness. Sadowski rolling right as he's flushed out. He'll keep it himself and turn a negative play into at least a few yards. Blink and you'll miss it. I don't think I've ever seen that happen out of anyone. Sadowski picking up 4, by the way, so it will be 2nd and 6 as Highland Park starts this drive in the red zone. So this is already their 2nd visit to the red zone. The first, of course, didn't produce any points, but what a wild sequence. Turnovers in the span of 2 plays. Second and 6. The ball carrier this time is Reed. He gets it inside the 10. Brings it to the 9-yard line to make it 3rd and short. We don't have video review, of course, as we take a look at the replay. We can show the replays, but the officials don't come up to the booth for a review. But going back a few plays ago to Grasky's fumble, I thought someone picked it off. He just lost it. Slipped through his fingers, and the officials did not rule it a forward motion. So it's 3rd and 1 again. This is 4-down territory in all likelihood. And Sadowski back under center. It's Johnson through the hole. And here we are again, another goal to go scenario for Highland Park as Isaac Johnson scampered up the middle to the 2-yard line. Remember, the last time Highland Park was in this part of the field, they lost the ball on a fumble. Leo Clifford had to come in for a play in place of Jonas Sadowski owing to the injury timeout. Highland Park taking care of the football, I'm sure, will be paramount this time around. And with those 3 running backs, lots of options here for the Scots. Johnson ends up losing 2 yards as Tartan's front line got the penetration. 2nd and goal from the 4. Highland Park has not attempted a pass, if you're wondering how that might go. And like we said, with these 2 teams being run heavy, not all that uncommon in high school football. We expect this game to proceed at a brisk pace. Tartan scored on the opening drive. Since then, punt, and then back-to-back fumbles. Under center, Sadowski. He'll keep it this time, but once again, Tartan's defensive line breaking through. The first one to get to him was a Karake, and that will make it 3rd and goal from the 5. You might think this would give Highland a little more room to throw, but again, that really isn't a primary option in their offensive playbook. And that was a Karake who wrapped him up from behind. Highland Park in danger of having another red zone trip come up empty in what I believe is 4-down territory. 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter. Highland Park split backs. They've got 2 wideouts this time. Will Walter is one of them, and
Delay a
Ganache
game,
the other.
number 4 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
But they took too long. Delay of game, those pre-snap penalties, the bane of every offensive team. Quarterback, you name it.
Timeout. Timeout, Highland Park.
And Highland Park burns a timeout after the fact. Remember, even though they don't have them at this field, you have 40 seconds to snap the ball. Otherwise, it's a delay of game penalty. Usually the official will give you some leeway, but with no play clock, it's up to the players to keep tabs of that. That's not always the easiest thing to do because you're not necessarily looking at the scoreboard, especially at the high school level. Most stadiums only have one scoreboard. This is the first of 3 timeouts in this half as we get a look at some of the Tartan fans again. The crowd growing in size as we made our way through that first quarter at 6 o'clock start. And remember, parking is limited as Tartan High School continues with their renovations. Their main lot, the one that I typically use and others typically use to get here for games, currently all dug up right now. 3rd and goal from the 10 following the delay of game penalty. Sadowski with a quick dump. He finds Ganache, and that takes them back to the 5-yard line. Park finding themselves in this precarious situation after their first 2 downs with goal to go resulted in tackle for loss. And Highland Park is going to use up their second timeout of the half. They don't carry over, of course. But Dave Zychik opting to take one here. A big play. Let's take a look at the turnovers. It looks like Highland Park's going to line up for the field goal. So this was, again, at the 1-inch line. Leo Clifford, bad handoff to Isaac Johnson. Tartan recovers in the end zone. And Highland Park is going to elect to take the field goal. And then well, that didn't happen on that play. It happened a couple plays later for Tartan, but a whiff throw recovered. So this will be a 17-yard field goal try from the right hash mark, and we've got flags. So Will Walter.
That's on the offense, right?
It's on the offense is what I'm hearing. And this has got to make Dave Zychik go. You got to be kidding me.
It's a false start on the offense. It'll be a 5-yard
Wow.
penalty. Repeat 4th down.
A false start. So that will put them back to the 10. The delay of game. Now a false start. Pre-snap penalties. Like we said, the bane of every offensive unit. Do you try the field goal from here?
Still 4th down. Now on the Tiglis 10-yard line.
It looks that way. This will turn a 22-yarder into a 27-yarder from the right hash mark. Walter will try again. Not even close. So Highland Park, their second trip to the red zone. The second time they come up empty. The delay of game certainly not a help. And that false start took away what would have been a good field goal. 5 yards can make a big difference sometimes. The snap looked clean from here. Will Walter just couldn't get enough air under it. Hooked it left. It looked like it was short anyway. And Tartan will start their next series at the 20 as they escape a couple of close calls with no damage. And if Highland Park can't find a way to win this game, their last 2 possessions will loom large. A fumble at the 1-inch line and a missed field goal following a false start that took away a good try. Borsay, a big hole, and he'll outrun everyone. No flags. See you later. 80-yard run to Pater for Gerard Borsay. Reminiscent of the first series, Borsay snuck through. Our field camera lost him, but our cameras up top did not. Ebenhoek for the extra point. Nails it. My, oh my, how the tides have turned. One play, 80 yards, 14 seconds. Gerard Borsay makes it a 14-0 game following the extra point from Ebenhoek. And this could be the critical juncture, the turning point, and the final outcome of this game. If you're Highland Park, got to shake it off though. There's still plenty of time left in this one, and they won't get the ball to start the second half. But you talk about momentum, morale killers. This is it. Here's another look at the Borsay touchdown. There was a big hole along the left side. And from there, Borsay's footwork and agility took care of the rest. Gerard Borsay, the 6'2" senior. This Tartan program, maybe not the headliner in Class 5A, but they've had some solid years in recent memory. They've had a couple of teams go to state. This one a short kick, and it will go out of bounds. So that will be an illegal kick, and that will give Highland Park solid field position. With 5:05 left in the second quarter. There are worse times for a penalty. And in the case of Tartan, Highland Park will start at the 35. We don't have those dynamic kicking rules like we do in the NFL now that affect starting field position, but Tartan's penalties less consequential. They had the offside call at the 1 yard line and then an illegal kick. You compare that to Highland Park. As of late, the false start, the delay of game that took them out of field goal range. Tartan, of course, had a couple of consequential penalties earlier. We'll talk about that in a moment as Reed breaks the tackle, but flags everywhere. Did Reed grab the face mask of Caden Nakarake? That's the question on that stiff arm. It is a 7-yard pickup, or a 3-yard pickup, I should say, but Reed may have grabbed the face mask of a Nakarake following his stiff arm. And we were just talking about consequential penalties. This would be one of them.
Holding on the offense, face mask on the defense. Those penalties offset. We'll repeat the down.
Okay. So there was a face mask, but it was on Tartan, and there was a holding call. Let's see if we can pick it up on this play. Okay, I stand corrected. It looked like to the naked eye that Reed was the one who grabbed the face mask, but it was a Nakarake. And the holding call didn't quite see who committed it. But that means a do-over. So we'll start again, 1st and 10 at the 35 due to the offsetting penalties. And I don't know who that benefits more, but Sadowski's flushed out and swallowed up. Picks up a yard at Nakarake with the tackle. Again, Highland Park, not a team built for the air. So if you can flush out Sadowski, get him to scramble, that could put you in a favorable spot. It's 2nd and 9, and Highland Park has just 1 timeout left. Tartan used one up earlier. But consequential penalties, again, Tartan had a pair of them on Grasky. Intentional grounding and illegal forward pass. Highland Park had a pair that took them out of field goal range. But Tartan leads 14-0 as Sadowski can't evade the sack. Bringing him down was number 72. And his name not listed on the roster. But it is a loss of 7. And a timeout. During this timeout, I'll see if I can figure out what number 72 is, but some more info on Armando Carroll. We talked about his follicular lymphoma. It took several visits to figure out what it was. He had multiple surgeries to remove cancerous tumors. And he made a point to maintain a positive outlook. And even as he was recovering, he was checking in on his little brother. His mom was quoted as saying, "It was supposed to be all about you, Armando, but he can't help himself. He's looking after everybody." But the cancer did not spread. And Armando, after taking some time away, he did have to miss a practice for a biopsy. And Dave Zaitchik, I'll finish that in a moment, as Sadowski flushed out again, gets rid of it, finds Ganaji, but it's going to be well short of the first down, getting it to the 40. Tartan called that timeout, by the way. It would be 4th and 5, and Tartan will use their last timeout to save some clock. They're looking for another drive here, perhaps, to go up 21-0. So we're out of timeouts. On the Tartan side, Highland still has one left. But Armando had to take a month off from any physical activity, baseball, football included. Of course, that also wiped out his strength and conditioning. He felt his body returning to normal during the second mini camp of the summer. He has all section and possibly all state aspirations. Highland Park will punt. I don't blame them. And Tartan should have plenty of time here, but no timeouts left. 3:48 to go. Again, the sack. Now Highland Park takes a timeout. Well, I know this much, that's it. Nobody can call timeouts for the final 3:48. Again, they don't carry over. Well, I'm gonna have time to go through the entire story. And if you want to check it out yourself, Jace Frederick of the St. Paul Pioneer Press penned this piece. But Zaitchik came out of retirement for several years. Armando was one of the first to meet with Dave Zaitchik, bought into his vision, put it into action. Camilla, Armando's mother, admits there were moments where she worried if her son could play. She is quite protective, as Armando put it. Her mom, a Harding grad, I should add. And I went to high school with her younger brother. That's my little side note for you. But right now, we're back on the field. All the timeouts are done for the first half. Brown's punt, a short one, fielded by number 31, Logan Floth, who signaled fair catch. So Tartan will get solid field position here at the 32-yard line. They will have 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Based on the last series, more than enough time, but 1 yard, 1 play drives are not exactly expected in the playbook. First and 10 at the 32. Borsay with the running TD, Salo with the running TD. We'll see if either of them or someone else adds a rush TD. Again, Tartan has been run heavy, and they will stick to the ground on 1st and 10. Flag, we may get a holding call here as Borsay gets close to the first down, tackled at the 38-yard line. But I think this one's coming back. The flag came from the backfield. It's usually holding.
Holding on the offense, number 65. It would be a 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Jace Hams called for holding, and that's what I thought. Usually when you see a flag in the backfield, that means it's a hold, and going back to consequential penalties, Tartan has overcome them to score a couple of times. We'll see if we can get a look at this. Again, number 65 called for the hold, and Doesn't look like you could see him from that angle. Not until late. But that makes it 1st and 19 from the 23 as Tartan looks to pick up some of those yards back. Grasky gets 2 of those yards back, but Tartan's going to have to do better than that. Again, out of timeouts, and Highland Park will get the ball to start the second half. Tartan looking to take a commanding lead and perhaps throw down the proverbial hammer. 3 minutes to go. Remember, we play with college rules, so the clock stops to move the chains on a first down. This will be a passing play for Grasky. Brown can't catch him. Grasky will keep it and run past the 30 before scurrying out of bounds. They spot him at the 30. That will make it 3rd down. And still 11 yards to go. Grasky flushed out. It was a 5-yard pickup, but that's what you call a good coverage play if you're Highland Park. Grasky didn't see anybody, and remember, he had a lost fumble after just whiffing a pass. Looks like we're going to have another passing play here on 3rd and 11. Grasky, 3-step drop. Can't find an option again, so he'll take off running and pushed out of bounds at about the 35. So that holding call proving to be influential, and I don't think Highland Park, or Tartan I should say, is going to risk going for it here. No. Consequential penalties. It cost Highland Park a chance at a field goal. It turns this drive into a 3-and-out for Tartan. No, it's a fake. They're going to try to get the first. They got to get past the 41, and I don't think they did. Grasky with a direct snap. Well short. An aggressive call by Tartan. It doesn't work out, and Highland Park will get another chance with great field position. 2:32. They're out of timeouts, but they only have to go 38 yards. And maybe Tartan electing to go for it here. You saw Grasky with the direct snap, and the young man who got to him was Joaquin Lechuga to get the turnover on downs. My thinking is on the Tartan side, Highland Park hasn't been able to score off their 2 trips to the red zone, so they thought, hey, let's give it a go. If it doesn't work out, we can get a defensive stop, but 2:32 is an awful lot of time. Against that triumvirate of running backs. High snap! And I see the 2nd down signal. Sadowski recovers. Yikes. Can you say crazy? It's a 14-0 game, but nothing pedestrian about it. Just a high snap. And Sadowski got his hand on the ball, and in college rules, once any part of your body goes down, the play is dead. But this is quite bizarre. Remember, Highland Park using up a lot of time here on 2nd and long. Sadowski throws, he's going deep. Walter tries to fight off, his defender cannot. Incomplete pass. Logan Flaw with the coverage, and that will make it 3rd and 15. That was Ganaji, the intended receiver. 1:36 to go. This could be a critical play for both teams. This is probably 4-down territory, but depending on what Highland does here, Tartan may end up with time again. Sadowski going deep once more, and he overthrows his man. Will Walter, the intended receiver. That will bring up fourth down. And here comes the punting unit. Highland will probably go for a pooch and try to pin Tartan deep. As the two sides are making for an intriguing close to the second quarter. With regard to time management, Tartan went for it on fourth, didn't work out. They force a 3-and-out on Highland, and Tartan will get some time. They'll have a deep field in all likelihood as Brown lines up for the punt. Oh my, the snap goes over his head. Brown will fall on it, and again, in college rules, once you go down, the play is dead. So Tartan, with plenty of time, 1:25 left, and they will start at the Highland Park 28. A high snap going over Brown's head, and there's nothing you can do as a punter when that happens. There's a zoom in for you. Benefit of having HD cameras. They spot him at the 29, Tartan, that is. But with 1:25 left and only 29 yards to go, a short task, especially for Borsay and Salo, who have rush TDs already. But Grasky will elect to throw, gets rid of it, and the pass overthrown. Karake, the intended receiver. There was a Highland player pursuing Grasky, and that little pinch of pressure may have gotten to him. Could this get any more wild? We've seen high snaps, fumbles, a fake that didn't work out. Like I said, this is not your traditional 14-0 game. As Al Michaels would say, you can't make this up. We've seen just about everything, and we still have 2 more quarters to go. Single back formation, 3 wideouts for Tartan. It looks like they're going to go to the air again. They still have 1:19 left. Grasky, 3-step drop. He's flushed out. Rolls left. Pass underthrown, but caught by a Karake. And he's going to have plenty of room to lunge forward and get the touchdown. A Karake with a second effort, reaching past the goal line for our first passing touchdown. Grasky has had to do a lot of scrambling, not the best protection when he has gone to the air, but Karake able to make the adjustment, do a little ring around the rosy, and following the extra point by Ebenhoek, which is true. It is 21-0 Tartan over Highland Park with 1:05 to go. That was a 2-play, 29-yard drive, 20 seconds. Grasky with a 29-yard touchdown pass to a Karake. Again, the offensive line protection has been suspect, but Grasky able to get settled and find one of his teammates on the fly. Here's another look at these moves, the setups that lead to these big plays. That was the high snap. Brown could only dive on it. And here's a Karake. Only disappears into the bench from that angle. But we can assure you, he did reach over and get that ball across the plane. As you know, only the ball has to cross the goal line. The player does not. Highland Park, plenty of chances. Again, 2 trips to the red zone, so this isn't a case of one team overpowering another. Tartan just making more of those big-time clutch plays. Highland Park will try to get a good return here. and taking it to about the 25 is Keelan Vang. We'll see if Highland Park, with 59 seconds left, opts to make a stab or regroup for the second half. Remember, they do get the ball to start the second half. And what has been a game of missed opportunities on the part of Highland Park. First trip to the red zone, a fumble. Again, Leo Clifford having to come in for Sadowski. Second trip, 2 penalties. A delay of game and a false start. That take them out of field goal range. They'll stick to the ground here, and getting tackled for loss is number 44. Player not listed on the program, either program. The Tartan player that got to him was Adrian Shainthaler, number 57. And from the looks of it, Highland Park will just let time expire. They'll have to run one more play and regroup for the second half. Again, Highland Park 0 for 2 in the red zone. Tartan they've made just 1 trip, owing to their longer touchdown runs, as Highland Park runs it one more time to run out the clock. And that will bring the first half to a close. A half that was one of the stranger ones I've seen in my years of covering high school football. But Tartan finding a way to overcome their mishaps and take a 21-0 lead on the strength of their ground game, and then a dash of brilliance in a scrambling play by Grasky with that 29-yard touchdown throw to Akereke. We'll have first half highlights when we return. You're watching high school football on SEC. Tartan leads Highland Park 21-0.
Hear that?
All right.
That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect.
I don't know whose idea it was to put a mic on the official, but I will say it is a brilliant one.
Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out.
First half highlights.
Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving.
That's all right. So I'm
Don't drive buzzed.
Highlights. Here's what we'll have when we come back.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown. We'd never babysit with a screen. We said we'd never let the toys take over.
Mariella.
I'm guessing
Never leave the house
we'll have
looking.
First half highlights.
Well,
So I'm guessing that's what we'll have coming back.
and never let them out of our sight.
Oh, wow. Did the old truck, have just one, or? That seems a bit redundant to have 4 buttons just to talk to somebody.
Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
We're not powerless.
Yeah, I don't know.
So long as we don't lose sight of what's important.
Don't be afraid to seize that moment to talk to your friends.
Cloud, you okay?
Because
That
checking
always
in on a
annoys me.
friend can create a safe space.
The first step on our new journey. You coming?
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
Ethan was shot in the head in his best friend's house with an unsecured gun. The father, the gun owner, he stored his 3 guns and bullets in a shoebox. That has to be the most horrific experience that a human could ever have.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health, my own mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I've never been more devastated than the day I lost my mom. I was depressed, miserable, in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came, my pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. The chaos that was in me began to subside. I was more focused, clear. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. That's not up for debate. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Sunset at Oakdale, and everyone enjoying the halftime festivities. Sweet Caroline, a ritual no matter where you go, everyone getting into the swing of it. And looks like there's a cowboy western theme in the Highland Park student section, which is situated in front of us here, but it's Tartan riding like cowboys with a 21-0 lead, and it looks like they've got that theme going on too. I see a few pink cowboy hats over there at the Tartan student section. Mike Beaton with you, and let's take a look at our first half highlights. This has been a game of crazy twists and turns. That was our first touchdown run by Brian Salo from 18 yards, set up by a couple of big runs from Borsay. Highland Park got the ground game going early, and here's the first big play. The botched handoff from Clifford to Johnson. It was recovered by Highland Park, and then Tartan, a couple plays later, just a whiff throw on the part of Grasky. It was recovered by Highland Park, but their red zone trip stalled. Here's one of the big plays, Borsay, the 80-yard touchdown run. That made it 14-0 as you get a look at the celebration from his fellow comrades. And then late in the second quarter, the high snap, preventing Antoine Brown from a chance to punt. And then Grasky flushed out, avoiding the sack, gets rid of it, finds his teammate Akarike. And look at this second effort, Akarike getting the reach for our third touchdown, the first passing touchdown of the game. That made it 21-0. Highland Park's got their work cut out for them, but as those highlights demonstrated, they've been able to get the ground game going enough to reach the red zone. Finishing those drives will be paramount for Tartan. The key will be continuing what they started. Their ground game doing a great job. Grasky, I think, would like a little more protection from his linemen, but 2 more quarters to go. Remember, Highland Park lost in a shootout with Johnson, so they're not out of this yet. I wouldn't do that. As we take a look at the upcoming schedule, well, we will get to our upcoming schedule once we put in a plug for the right stand. Yes, well, I'm sure CTM won't mind the quick shout out we gave them as well. Our friends in Coon Rapids. They do a great job. Everyone around the Metro does a great job. We will have the upcoming schedule for you in a moment. It happens to the best of us, folks, but we've got lots more games coming to you this month here, the first full month of the fall sports season here on SEC Sports. Tartan and Highland Park, with the Titans leading 21-0 at halftime. We'll rejoin you in about 10 minutes. Remember, they'll have the 3-minute warm-up period after the halftime intermission expires. You're watching high school football live on SEC.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was like a whole range of emotions, joy, sadness. There's gonna be obstacles. You're gonna feel like, why is it happening to me? And you're gonna realize you're not the only one.
There we go.
There's no perfect way. Your own way will be the perfect way.
Hey, how long am I
You're
off?
protected with
Like,
all your might.
how long are we off here? When do I come back on?
Just
5
seeing
minutes?
him
Okay.
happy.
Okay, thanks. I was trying
It's
to
just
hit the talk back
joy,
button,
you
didn't
know.
hear anything.
I look through his eyes. I can envision like the whole
be back in a
future with him
moment.
already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. Oh man, he can smile now. I'm happy because he's advancing in life, you know, he's growing. Being a young dad, it's not giving up, it's shifting. My life is now devoted to his life.
We come from a long line of farmers, and there's a sense of pride with being part of these multi-generational businesses. But there's also a significant amount of pressure. My senior year of high school, my dad made the decision that this world no longer needed him. I don't know if he was overwhelmed by the bills and checks that weren't going to be coming in because of the strawberries dying off, but it breaks my heart that my dad made a permanent decision for a temporary issue. Don't feel like you have to go through it alone.
Farmers have to take care of their physical and their mental health, because what's a farm without a farmer?
In the mornings, that's my time. Watching the sun come up, I can have a cup of coffee and exercise if I want to. It helps me start the day with a sense of gratitude.
Yay!
Every day is a new opportunity. Don't forget to check in on yourself. Love, your mind.
Hi, I'm Jenny Garth. I've loved and cared for rescue animals since I was a little girl growing up on a farm in Illinois. My pets have always been some of the most important members of my family. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals for over 140 years. Adopting an animal in need can help save a life and add a new member to your family. Since 1981, American Humane has celebrated Adopt a Dog Month each October in an effort to help the estimated 3 to 4 million animals waiting in shelters every year to get the loving, forever home that they deserve. I urge you to consider fostering or adopting a shelter pet and to support the noble mission of American Humane. Together, we can make a significant difference in the lives of these loving creatures. For more information, please check out AmericanHumane.org.
Tens of millions of tickets.
Tens
When that
of
clock hits
millions
0, they'll
of
have a 3-minute warm-up clock.
Tens of millions of tickets.
Thank you, VetTix. Thank you.
Thank you, First Ticks. Thank you, VetTix and First Ticks.
Thanks to your support, the nonprofits VetTix and First Ticks have given away tens of millions of tickets and counting to vets currently serving military, the immediate family of troops killed in action, and our brave, current, and former first responders. These tickets are a meaningful way to say thank you to America's heroes and help them re-engage with American life by giving them free, fun experiences and new happy memories that'll last a lifetime. And now, we want you to be part of the mission. Got extra tickets to concerts, games, or special events? Or want to see if you qualify? We want you to go to vettix.org and firsttix.org today. Give something to those who gave.
When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without a high school diploma. My name is Ariel, and my entire life changed when I took a chance and I got my high school diploma at age 22. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers. They were with me every step of the way, helping with my English and math, making sure I pushed through all the challenges.
All right.
So Ariel,
Well,
we
we'll
made
have
this
about
year
4
just for
minutes
you.
of
Has notes
downtime,
from
it
all
looks
the
like.
people that are here.
I think, well, you've got the upcoming schedule, right?
Your achievement has set an example for so many students. Most importantly, your daughter.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate.
All right.
Visit
I'll be quick with this
finishyourdiploma.org
one
to
then.
find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without a high school diploma. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers.
Your achievement has set an example for so many students. Most importantly, your daughter.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking,
I can probably fill 3 minutes of time.
and never let them out of our sight. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Before the game, there was a brief ceremony honoring Oakdale Youth Football. They are the featured guests tonight, and I'm sure they are enjoying the show their older comrades have put on, the Tartan Titans, as they lead Highland Park 21-0 as we get ready to start the third quarter. Highland Park will get the ball to start the second half, and everybody going with the cowboy theme. I see a few pink hats on the Tartan side, Highland Park, all sorts of hats. This is the second time I've covered a high school football game where both student sections had the same theme. I did a game at Orono, and it was a tropical themed student section for both sides in the Orono-Zimmerman battle. Here, it's all about the Cowboys. I just hope they don't end up in Austin, if you know what I'm talking about. There was a recent song. But Tartan is hoping to end up on the winning side. They lost 34-6 last week to Cretin-Derham Hall. Highland Park, again, had that close battle with Johnson, came up just a bit short. 38-35 was the final in that one. Again, Highland Park will start the second half with the ball, and there's a look at the mascot. The god of lightning, if I were to make a guess. And Tartan's offense striking like lightning on several occasions. There's Dave Zychik back at the helm for Highland Park. He was head coach many years ago, took a step back, came back, as we mentioned earlier in the first half. Armando Carroll, one of the first to buy into his system. And Dave, much like a lot of personalities at Highland Park, they may not be the talk of the town. They may not be the headliners of state tournament teams all the time, but they are well respected. Deb Williams comes to mind as well, who was coach girls basketball at Highland Park for a long time. Whenever Armando has to do a biopsy, and he gets those every 3 months to make sure that his cancer doesn't return, his first instinct, Dave Zychik that is, was wondering what's going on, and Armando just texted him back, "It's all right, I'll be back on Friday." Coaches, parents, they worry, and that's not an indictment. You know how it goes if you're a parent or a coach or have had experience in both. Whenever you decide to have kids or mentor kids, teenagers, it's not about you. You become that parent, the one who's making sure everyone's okay. But Highland Park takes the field. We'll see if they can bounce back in the second half. Mike Beaton with you here on SCC. 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown for Tartan, and for Highland Park, again, 2 trips to the red zone, so we know they can move downfield. Can they close out? That will be the key as they get ready to receive this kickoff. Keelan Vang. A among the receivers. And it's Ebenhoek. Booms this one to Vang, who muffs it, picks it up on the hop, and he'll get it past the 25-yard line. So Highland Park will start their next series at about the 26.
The Scots take over 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line.
And the ground game, again, the bread and butter of Highland Park. The Highland Park cheerleaders making the trip down here. Oakdale not too far of a drive from St. Paul. And we were talking about renovations. They've been going on at some of the St. Paul campuses too. Washington, which used to be Arlington, getting a new football field. There was a time where there were only 3 fields available for use in the St. Paul City Conference. Of course, we don't play conferences anymore in football. I'll talk more about that in a moment on this rushing play here on first down that will net a couple of yards. I have done a lot of reminiscing throughout the summer through another project that I've done with the Minnesota History Center. And looking back on my time in broadcasting in St. Paul, there used to be 3 sites, Harding, Central, and Highland, that would host home games. So schools like Johnson, Como Park, Arlington, Humboldt has their own field, but they co-op with Harding now for football. There was a time where a lot of schools had to go on the road basically to play home games, and more schools are getting their own fields, which is a great thing to see. 2nd and 8 for the Scots. Another run play to number 44. This time he runs past the first line and gets to the 35-yard line, close to a first down. He might have it, actually. That might be Brandon Jackson. He's wearing 44, but I see 54 in his helmet. They do spot it at the 35, so it will be 3rd and a yard as we take another look. Well, he got that big pickup, 7 yards, because he was able to break that first tackle. You know how it goes with tackling. There's an art to it. You got to make sure the form is right, or you're going to get a whole lot of air. 3rd and 1. Jackson again. No. Sadowski looking for blocking. He's not going to get it. I think we're going to get a hold. And if so, Tartan will likely decline it, as Sadowski was tackled for a loss anyway. Sadowski was looking for protection. Got none of it. The penalty is on Highland Park. I suspect Tartan will decline. As Sadowski was tackled for a loss. No, they're going to enforce it. So that will put the ball back to the 26-yard line. Sadowski was tackled at the 32. I thought Tartan would decline and force Highland Park to punt, but we've seen some peculiar decisions, at least peculiar from my point of view, but we're having another discussion here. Did Tartan accept or decline the penalty? I was about to say, it's easier to have these discussions when you're up in the booth. Okay, they stopped to reset the ball to the 25. One of my go-to sayings as a reminder that I'm up here, they're down there. I don't make those decisions, so I don't have to worry about the outcomes. But let's see what Highland Park does here with this extra down. Sadowski will throw to the middle, and the pass underthrown. The intended receiver was Ganaji, and getting the deflection was Logan Flaw. It was nearly picked off. So Highland Park will have to punt anyway after all that. A frustrated Ganaji and an ecstatic Flaw with the deflection. Now Flog gets ready to receive this punt with 9:40 to go in the third. It's a low snap and it's blocked. Picked up by Tartan, and they will walk it in for the score. Joe Varner with the block, the scoop, and the touchdown. Put that on Varner's highlight reel at the end of the season. You can't see it from that angle, but it was a low snap. Brown may have needed an extra moment to gather himself for the punt, but you do see the end result. The block, the scoop, and the score. Tartan coming up big on special teams, and they are pulling away against their non-conference rival, a team they have seen a few times over the years. Tartan will take a timeout. I guess so. Usually you don't see a timeout when you're leading and about to go up, possibly 28-0. 9:34 left in the third. Here's another look. This will tell the tale. No, the snap, I thought it was low initially. It was a clean one, but nobody was on Varner. He broke free. And when you get an open lane to the punter, I think you're just as excited as if you would be if you were a velociraptor in the high grass. You see your prey and you're ready to pounce. And Tartan pounced masterfully. Following the timeout, the extra point by Eben Hoke is true once more, and it's 28-0 with 9 minutes and 34 seconds left in the third quarter. Just a lot of tough breaks for Highland Park. And every game has its own flavor, its own storyline. It may come down to the last play of the game. It may come down to which team comes up clutch on special teams, those big plays. Last night, again, if you watch Chiefs-Ravens, it came down to a toe by Likely. In this game, it's coming down to the clutch plays. Tartan, again, it hasn't been mistake-free football. They did have a couple of penalties that cost them on a drive. They also had a turnover, but they did not let it snowball. Following that fumble, they held Highland Park scoreless in the end zone, or in the red zone, I should say. Kept them from getting into the end zone. It's football season. Too many zones. But Highland Park, 2 trips to the red zone, no points. Tartan, just 1 trip to the red zone, but 2 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown, and now a special teams touchdown on the block, the scoop, and the score by Joe Varner, the 5'9" senior, and there will be no kickoff yet. We had a flag beforehand.
Kicking team, 5-yard penalty, repeat the kick.
You might have heard the tail end of that ruling. The penalty is on Tartan, and they will re-kick. Might have been for delay of game. Remember, the play clock does apply to special teams as well. And if you remember my pontification about consequential penalties, Tartan, they've had a couple, again, on Grasky with the intentional grounding and illegal forward pass, but it hasn't become a habit. As Vang fields this kick, looking for space. They'll take it to the 30 this time. And Highland Park will start their next series from there. It will be the 31-yard line where they initiate this drive. take another look. Because when you've got fancy cameras and equipment, you want to make the most out of every last bit of it. Just as Vang tried to make the most out of every last ounce that he could muster. First and 10 at the 31. And Highland Park in a real jam here. Jackson, the ball carrier. And he'll be held for no gain. Other plays of note, the special teams, Highland Park, they had the high snap at the end of the second quarter that gave Tartan a short field. That led to a touchdown. And then a block punt on their last series that was recovered by Varner for a touchdown. Those little things that can add up to big outcomes, big swings in the final score. And if you were watching or scoreboard watching to the naked eye, you might see 28-0 and go, well, Tartan took care of business. They certainly have, but not for lack of chances on the part of Highland Park. As Sadowski opts to throw, incomplete. Will Walter, the intended receiver this time.
I got the spot.
And that will make it 3rd and 10 from the 31.
This right goalpost. I've not
Getting a couple of shout-outs, by the way, from some old high school classmates of mine who are watching this broadcast, and I want to extend my gratitude to all of you watching this on SEC Sports. It's a reminder of how small this circle is, whether it's in sports, education, or a combination of the two. 3 backs, quick screen. Walter again the intended receiver, but Sadowski overthrows him, and this will be a 3-and-out for Highland Park.
Ball will be here, ball will be here.
I also want to give a shout out to Arlen, who had the foresight to mic up our head referee to give you some insight on the penalties. Some schools do have a mic system where the referees can announce them, and of course they have it at US Bank Stadium where the Prep Bowl semis and finals are. Brown
It's away.
sends this one out. Flaw will not return it. It will be downed by Highland Park's Leo Clifford at the 34-yard line. .7:58 left. Tartan leads 28-0. What has turned into a runaway performance for the Titans. So once again, thanks to all my old high school classmates. Well, Armando's mother, Camilla, I had a class with her way back when at Harding High School, and Armando's uncle, Camilla's brother, and I graduated in the same class at Harding High School. Camilla's husband didn't get noted in the article, but he does a lot of work in photography and has done so for years. Whatever kind of shot you're looking for, he can provide them. Right now, though, Tartan hoping to take another shot to the end zone here as they get 1st and 10. Another hole through the middle, another fine run. This time, Brian Salo, we haven't called his name in a while, but he'll take it to the 45-yard line for a gain of 11. Good blocking, and Salo took care of the rest. Tartan had 7 possessions in the first half. 4 led to touchdowns. 1 punt, a fake punt that was not converted, and the fumble. This time it's number 25, Malik Hassan on the carry. Gets through the first tackler, past midfield. And nets another solid pickup for Tartan at the 48. A gain of 7. Gain of 6, I should say. So that will make it 2nd and 4. In the battle of running games, Tartan with the edge. Again, they have the 2 touchdown runs. 3 touchdowns, by the way, in the first half for Tartan. 3 out of the 7. That last one stuck in my brain. That's Salo who escapes the tackle. He ends up going down for a loss, but it does make it a more manageable 3rd down for Tartan. What could have been a 5 or 6 yard loss, reduced to a 3 yard loss. And that might not mean a whole lot. As you take another look, that was a great, absolute sensational job on the part of Salo to spin off the first tackler. But there was a penalty on Highland Park. I didn't see the flag originally.
Result will be a first down.
A face mask, and that's going to give Tartan a first down. So what would have been 3rd and about 6 is instead a first down for Tartan. Going back to consequential penalties, it looked like it was a face mask. I didn't see the flag as the play was unfolding. But they'll get a fresh set of downs at the 39. Tough break for Highland Park again. As Tartan continues to traverse downfield. Tartan on the receiving end of a runaway blowout last week, looking to put one here on Highland Park. They'll start at the 41. Salo on the carry. Into the 2nd level again, and he's still pushing forward. And Salo earns a first down with the gain of 11. His ability, and Tartan as a whole, to get into that 2nd level, that is a huge difference, aiding the Titans in this one. Standard I formation. 1st and 10 at the 30. It's Hassan this time. And we'll call that a standard 4-yard run, but again, they don't always have to be explosive as long as they're moving downfield. But Hassan getting a couple of carries in this 2nd half for Tartan. A school that has had some success in football. And we mentioned some of the notable alumni for Highland Park in the first half. Tartan has their fair share of them as well. One of them actually featured at the Minnesota History Center. I'll explain when we have a moment. But she was one of the greats. Hassan up the middle, lunging forward just past the 20. Gets to the 19. That's good enough for a first. Had the speed to get past Brown. And I feel like I'm a broken record when I say this, but observing the replays with Tartan and their ground game, they're blocking, giving them enough lanes, and again, they don't always have to break for 20 or 30 yards. 5 yards here, 6 yards there. That adds up too. It's Salo in the backfield this time. He gets the pitch. Cannot evade the double team this time, and he is tackled for no gain. That will bring up 2nd down and 10. As the sun sets here at Tartan High School in Oakdale. If you're a fan of sunset pictures, I'd say now is the time to snap one. The Highland Park student section chanting, "We want Antoine," I believe in support of Antoine Brown, number 71, who has had a busy day today. 2nd and 10, just over 4 minutes left in the third. Player in motion. That is number 0, Sum, but it's going to be another run for Tartan. And they'll pick up a couple. Hassan, the ball carrier. And that will bring up 3rd down. And an official's timeout for an injured Tartan player. It's number 66, Max Benson, the 6'1" senior. Going back to the bench, looks like he'll be okay, but he'll have to sit out this play. So some of the notable Tartan alumni, including one who will be part of the display at the Minnesota History Center, Jessie Stomsky-Seam. She was a volleyball and basketball athlete here at Tartan. A few years ago, inducted into the Wisconsin Athletics Hall of Fame, and she is one of the featured players at the Girlhood women's basketball exhibit. The grand opening is tomorrow at the Minnesota History Center. And Jessie's longtime college and AAU teammate Tamara Moore, also one of the featured players. Jessie Stomsky, a terrific athlete and a terrific comeback story. I'll talk more about that here as we resume play on 3rd and 8. This will be a passing play for Grasky as he rolls right, looking for space, looking for an option. He'll take it himself and get to the 14-yard line. Short of the 1st down. We've seen Eben Hoke's leg on extra points, but from the looks of it, Tartan will go for it on 4th down, and I can't blame them. Nope, now Eben Hoke lines up for the field goal. This will be a 31-yard try from the right hash mark. Eben Hoke's kick is pure. So Liam Eben Hoke adds a field goal to his totals, and that makes the score 31-0 with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. So that was a 10-yard play, 10-drive play. This drive chart is going to drive me crazy. That was a 10-play drive that ended in a 31-yard field goal. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. I'll be back with you on Thursday. White Bear Lake, boys soccer against Roseville. White Bear Lake moving into their shiny new campus. And we go to Matabidi a week from tonight. Matabidi and Hastings, high school football. That should be a fun one. Some of our upcoming games this September on SCC TV. And another flag, so we'll have to do this over again. That last drive, by the way, 4 minutes and 33 seconds, 10 plays.
On the kicking team. It was a 5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
And 50 yards, ending in the 31-yard field goal try. That was successful for Eben Hoke. Tartan has to go back again. That's the 2nd time they've been tagged for a pre-snap penalty on a kickoff. Again, not as consequential as some other penalties we've seen, but still one of those tweaks that I imagine will be a point of emphasis during the film review session and practices over the ensuing week. Let's try it again. They also had a kick go out of bounds. Bang. had a hole, punches through it to get to the 30-yard line. 3 minutes, 19 seconds left in the third. Highland Park looking to salvage something out of this one, as the game appears to be out of their reach. And we're going to start this series with movement at the line. And from the signal, it will be encroachment. So Highland Park gets a free 5 yards to begin this chapter of their quest. Like we said, it has been a solid game for Tartan, not a perfect one. I don't know if a perfect game is possible at any level. I think that's the ever elusive item on the checklist, but they have some areas they could clean up, and I imagine they'll work on that over the next week. As Sadowski flushed out, pass nearly intercepted, but dropped by DeVell Sum. Sum, a two-way player, wide receiver and secondary, but couldn't haul that one in, and you can see the deflated expression. You'll see it here. Sadowski under pressure. Ganaji, the intended receiver, underthrown, and Sum not happy about that subtraction from his defensive totals. He'll get credit for the deflection, but that look told you he really wanted that INT. So it will be 2nd and 10, or 2nd and 5 for the Scots of Highland Park. Sadowski, screen pass, caught by Jackson. Akarike and number 44, Samuel Meyer on the tackle, but there may have been a helmet-to-helmet as the flag came in after the play.
Number 6, face mask.
It's a face mask.
Yeah. Personal foul, face mask. Number 6 on the defense. Be a 15-yard penalty.
It's on Akarike, and I believe that's the second time he has been flagged for a face mask. We still have the 5 and 15-yard varieties at this level. Akarike hit with the 15-yarder. So Highland Park, they would have had 3rd and long, or yeah, 3rd and long. Instead, it's going to be 1st down at the 49, following the 15-yarder. It would have been 3rd and 6. Highland Park gets a free 15. And they have moved the ball downfield so far by penalties, an encroachment and then a face mask call. Handoff to number 13, and just no blocking up front at all. Matai Banks pushed back a couple of yards. And again, when you have a team, a unit that is reliant on the run, that is not uncommon at the high school level. All the way into the state tournament rounds, I've seen it. But it does put more of an impetus on that blocking, that protection, because if you can't provide it, it's going to be tough for your running backs to succeed no matter who gets the touch. .228 left in the third. Highland Park facing 2nd down and 12. Sadowski, short slant. This has just not been his night in the air. Ganaji, the intended receiver. Just a tough outing for Sadowski, the senior and 2-year starter. sure he's flustered. It's a grinding, taxing experience when you can't seem to get those throws on point, but you got to keep swinging. As Highland Park will try to do. 3rd and 12. And you have to think this will be a passing play here. Sadowski with protection. Flings it deep, but it's underthrown, and it's intercepted this time by Jack Beefolk. He's got plenty of room down the right side. Couple men to beat, tries to tiptoe. Pushed out of bounds, but a huge return as Tartan cruising to victory now. Their fans are loving it. If they have more room in the stands, we might see some square dancing. Jack Beefolk, the 5'7" senior, returns it to the 18. And the Tartan fans know victory is within their reach. Short field for Tartan. We talk about adjustments all the time at any sport, how you approach halves, and Tartan making the big adjustments here. They've got a new player in at quarterback, but they start this one with a running play and end up getting pushed back a yard. Isaac Ooh taking over, and with Tartan up 31-0, they may have decided to pull Grasky for the night and save him for Tartan's next game, which will be against take that back, Bloomington Jefferson. Highland Park will get Minneapolis Southwest next week. 2nd and 11. Pitch to Hassan. Can't get through the first line. And it's a gain of 3. It will be 3rd and 8. Third and 8 from the 16. Under a minute to play in the 3rd. Live coverage of high school football on SCC. Hassan, the deep back. Jackson, the fullback. Ooh. Rolling left. Flag comes in. The pass intercepted by Highland Park's number 13, Matai Banks. It will be a touchback pending the marker. It happened as Ooh was rolling left.
From the spot will be good. Yep. Holding on the offense, left guard. Be a 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
It is a holding call on Tartan. The referee initially signaled that they would replay 3rd down, but Highland Park may opt to decline it and take the interception from Banks. He's speaking with the captains now as we try to sort this out.
Holding on the offense, result of the play is an interception, so that penalty is declined. We're going this way.
And Highland Park will decline the penalty. So Tartan They'll likely lock up the victory here, but they have another red zone trip that comes up empty thanks to the interception by Banks. And even if he hadn't made that pick, Tartan would have faced a lengthy third down. The initial signal seemed to be a touchback, but because Banks ran it out of the end zone, Highland Park will start from where Banks was stopped. And when you get a pick, unless it's a game-sealing one at the end, instincts will have you run it out. Because who doesn't want to have that pick six on their resume? So the good news is Highland Park gets the interception. The bad news is they have to start at the 3, and their offense has been on the struggle bus here in this third quarter. Perhaps they can change their tune here. A run by Jackson up the middle will give Highland Park some room as he takes it to about the 8-yard line. And if you recall what I said about swinging away, plugging away, that interception by Banks, emblematic of that attitude, that approach. It's probably not going to get Highland Park a win as we are about to wrap up the third quarter, where Highland Park will have 2nd and 5 awaiting them. But it did stop Tartan from scoring on a trip to the red zone after a big return by Beefolk following his interception. Let's take a look at some of the highlights as we reach the end of the third quarter and the team switch sides. A brief look at how we got here. Tartan scoring a touchdown and a field goal in the third quarter. Here's a look at Jackson. And Sadowski flung it deep. That was the deflection by Flaw. But this is the big play. The block, scoop, and score by Varner. And our mascot getting a workout tonight. Later in the period, this was another one of the big plays. The interception by Beefolk, the big return, gave Tartan a red zone trip at the 18, but they could not capitalize on it, and that's why, oh, I see what happened now. It looked like got hit at the last second, may have underthrown the ball as a result. As we peek at the crescent in this fourth quarter, the crescendo of our high school football game here in Oakdale. Second and 5 for Highland Park. We'll take on Minneapolis Southwest next week. Tartan will go on the road to play Bloomington Jefferson. Their next home game, the 21st against Apple Valley. Looking for a seam is Highland Park. And that is Eric Reed who gets it past the 10. They spot him at the 12, so a gain of 4. That will make it 3rd and 1. As Highland Park looks to get on the board and, again, give these fans who made the trek here from St. Paul something to celebrate. And now the players cramping up. We've seen quite a bit of that these first couple of weeks. So as that player is checked on by the trainers, we mentioned Jessie Stomsky from earlier. She is featured at the new Girlhood and Minnesota Women's Basketball exhibit at the Minnesota History Center. I said a terrific athlete and a terrific comeback story. She was one of the best to come out of Tartan in volleyball and girls basketball, but the player who cramped up was number 40 for Highland Park, Joaquin Lechuga. Unfortunately, her high school career ended prematurely due to a DUI citation. And she had to bounce back from that. She did so splendidly. Big Ten Freshman of the Year, inducted into their Hall of Fame. She's been working as a lawyer now for the last decade plus, providing a voice for the Native American community. One of many points of pride from Tartan High School here in Oakdale. 3rd and 1 for Highland Park as they look to notch a point of pride or two in this one. Jackson on the run, pushes forward for the first. As he gets the ball to the 17-yard line, a gain of 5. No, that was Sadowski. I thought it was Jackson. Either way, it's a first down. This is not to excuse myself, but as a broadcaster, when you call games from the press box and you get a run play where athletes trot into the scrum, those numbers can be tough to separate. Fresh set of downs, though. That's the important thing for Highland Park. 1st and 10 at the 17. Another run. And another solid pickup. It's Sadowski again. Just past the 25, a gain of 8. As we noted in the first half, Highland Park, they had some success with the run. They got to the red zone a couple of times. They couldn't score in those trips, and that made a difference. Maybe not enough to change the outcome of a game, but you look at all those opportunities, the ones that were converted, the ones that came up empty. And for Highland Park, there were plenty of them, but there are some building blocks they can take from this game, just like their battle with Johnson. As Jackson carries it to the 30 for another first down. We are effectively in stat padding time. We are not at the mercy rule threshold, if you're wondering. That is 35 or more, but Highland Park looking to get one on the board here, as a lot of our other high school football games are underway. Several of them starting now. Highland Park edging forward. This was Reed who gets it to the 39 for another 9-yard gain. Just a quick dump, and I believe the first completion of the second half, a rare one for Highland Park. Sadowski rolling right now. He'll take it himself, lots of space, and he'll run out of bounds for the first at the 48. And if you're a Highland Park fan, you might be wondering, you couldn't have done this earlier, but that's how it goes sometimes. You can have a lot of drives that stall out, peter out, flame out, and then you get one like this where Highland Park is moving the ball in bunches. Back-to-back 9-yard gains. 8:51 left. Again, most of our Friday night games underway. There was another 6 o'clock game. Park Center up on Bloomington Kennedy, 33-12, and then a bad snap on first down. We'll push them back a yard. Bad snaps afflicting Highland Park. The biggest example, of course, was at the 1-inch line. Clifford unable to get the handoff into Isaac Johnson, and the end result, a lost fumble. 2nd and 11. This time the snap is clean, but Reed goes nowhere, met up right away by CJ Zarzar, number 9. Tartan sending in some of their second stringers now, and that will bring up 3rd down and 12. Just no blocking up front for Reed to work with. Third and long. Sadowski Tries the screen pass, and it's caught by Reed, but not in stride, so Reed will be down at about the 48. Because again, with college rules, 47, once you go down, the play is dead. It's not like the NFL where a defender has to touch you. There was a slate of football games last night. We've had some more Thursday night contests in recent years. Some of that is due to officiating availability, but Stillwater knocked off Woodbury 34-15 last night. Mounds View defeated White Bear Lake 28-6. Matamidi taking care of St. Paul Central 40-13. And Breck beating Minneapolis South this evening 20-0. That game just went final. Sadowski on 4th down, pass incomplete. Will Walter, the intended receiver. So Tartan will take over, and I'm guessing we'll see more of the second string players finish this one out. Most of the other games underway now. They won't wrap up until later. I mentioned Jesse Stonsky, perhaps one of the biggest alumni out of Tartan in terms of athletic recognition. A lot of family connections too, the Elbert family with a lengthy sports background. Tia Elbert, if that name rings a bell, graduated 10 years ago, still the all-time leading scorer at Tartan. Perhaps one day she'll be featured in a History Center exhibit as we get a timeout by Tartan. 6:48 left in the fourth. And the Akarake name, Kendra Akarake from a few years ago. Played her fair share of sports here. Antoine Kimmons, another one, he's still playing college ball over at Concordia. And a sentimental favorite here in the Twin Cities metro area. Again, Highland Park will play Southwest next week. Tartan will play Bloomington Jefferson. The next home game for Tartan will be September 21st, a Saturday matinee with Apple Valley. They'll end the regular season October 10th against Robbinsdale Cooper. Cooper always a team to watch. As we resume play here, it will be 1st and 10 at the 47 for Tartan with 6:48 to go. And it's Hassan who will pick up 6 before he is brought down. A banner day for the running backs of Tartan, in particular Salo and Borsay. Special teams has been up and down quite literally with the block punt that was returned for a touchdown, but a couple of penalties as well. That handoff results in a 5-yard loss. Hassan met in the backfield and got a face full of Ronald Thompson Jr. First year as a starter. And he'll add a tackle for loss to his column. Again, it's those little things. for Highland Park, perhaps they'll add up to big things as they continue this season. After a close one with Johnson and then a rout here from Tartan. Pitch to Hassan on 3rd and 9. A host of Highland Park players get to him. The first to reach him was number 33, Gavino Limon. Saying that correctly. And then number 77 with the finishing move. That was Stephen Linebaugh Jr. And my apologies if I'm not getting their names right. Football is perhaps the toughest sport since they include the biggest rosters. 4th down, Tartan will go for it here. 4:25 to go. Hassan in the backfield, 2 wideouts. Isaac Wu still under center. Has plenty of room this time. He'll keep it himself and use that plenty of room to trot himself a 1st down. A 14-yard pickup. I had to do it. Double check. I think it was a 12-yard pickup actually, but still. A big one nonetheless. John Madden, the late great broadcaster, used to say, for scrambling quarterbacks, that defenses didn't necessarily have a play for one. Hassan looking for the edge. He finds it on the left side. Taken out of bounds, close to the 10. A 20-yard gain as he makes his way to the 12. We'll see if Tartan looks to add one more score. As far as the outcome is concerned, it would be academic, but this is high school football. You want to make your mark because for a lot of these athletes, this will be the pinnacle. We mentioned Carroll earlier from Highland Park. He wants to take up baseball if he continues playing at the next level. Hassan through the first defender. Almost got through the second, but he does get to the 6-yard line. Yards after contact, yak. Tartan picking up a few in that category. Number 27, Owen Hardy, had his leg wrapped up, but that was it. Got to wrap up the whole body, not just the leg, if you're going to make that form tackle work. 2nd down, Wu under center, looking for that icing on the cake, the cherry on top. Pitch to Hassan. He's got space, he's got a lane, and he's got a touchdown. The 3rd different running back to score tonight for Tartan. Borsay, Salo, Hassan, all with rush TDs tonight. Even Oak, one more extra point. 38-0. 2:54 to go. Overall, a solid second half for Tartan. Their game itself, I think you would say solid. Not a perfect one. They had some miscues along the way, some tweaks to be made, but they made most of the big plays. I think the biggest sequence was shutting out Highland Park in both of their trips to the red zone. As we take another look at the Hassan touchdown run. Had a lot of space on the left side, cut back in. Nothing too fancy about that series for Tartan. They just utilize their tips and techniques. A 7-play, 47-yard drive, 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Malik Hassan with a 6-yard touchdown run, and for the 5'11" junior, spreading the wealth is what he and everyone else on Tartan's offense has done. For Grasky, he's got a passing touchdown. With the interception earlier, but I don't think that will sting too heavily on him. And Tartan will pick up their first win of the season in runaway fashion. If Highland Park, had they converted those red zone trips into scores, one was fumbled at the 1-inch line, recovered for a touchback as Reed fields the kickoff, and still spinning past tacklers, but it was running sideways, not upfield. I think the turning point, the first trip to the red zone, no points. The second trip to the red zone, a delay of game, and then a false start wipes away a field goal. No points for Highland Park. Would it have been enough to win? Perhaps not. But it would have given them a far bigger dose of confidence that could have carried over into the remainder of the game. We're in running time now because the margin is above 35, so we've got a couple minutes left with you here in Oakdale. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to be precise. So we'll remind you again that our next game will be at White Bear Lake for soccer. Of course, soccer and lacrosse got to play at the new digs last year. Football playing there for the first time this season. That's White Bear Lake's campus completing their renovations. Everyone now at the North Campus. The South Campus is now Mariner Middle School. But I can't wait to see the new field. It will be my first visit since the renovations were complete. And as you can see, Tartan's next game on the road at Bloomington Jefferson. Next Friday, Highland Park will play Minneapolis Southwest. And even though Highland Park will likely be shut out of this one, Armando Carroll certainly gaining some respect and some appreciation for continuing to play sports, not letting a cancer diagnosis get in his way, not letting any treatments get in his way. They said the experience as Highland Park picks up the first down, thanks to Eric Reed, brought their families much closer, and they enjoyed the family breakfast get-togethers for about a month that they couldn't indulge in with the sports schedules. I'm sure that the next breakfast outing will be much more harmonious. And for Tartan, like we said, one of their most distinguished alumni will be displayed at the Minnesota History Center, and Eric Reed displaying his prowess as he is ripping off a big gain here. Taking that one into the 25-yard line or so. That was a gain of 32 yards. Highland Park, they have all 3 timeouts, but they're going to not use them here. And well, now they come back on the field, but they're going to run out of time. Reed gets a big run, but that'll be it for Highland Park. Tartan wins in a shutout, 38-0 for their first victory of 2024. They were the favorites going in, but as the saying goes, you got to take care of those teams, and Tartan did that and then some. 38-0, 3 different running backs with rush TDs, a special team score, and a great piece of improvisation on a passing score. Let's take a look at the highlights. It began with an 18-yard touchdown run by Brian Salo. Here's one of the big plays. The fumbled handoff, recovered by Tartan. There's the 80-yard touchdown run by Gerard Borsay. That came after a missed Highland Park field goal. Another special teams miscue in Highland Park, a high snap. That set up a 29-yard touchdown pass to Caden Akarake. In the second half, Isaac Gu got hit as he threw. That allowed Banks to get the interception. But this was one of their highlights. Hassan with a 6-yard touchdown run. There was also the block punt by Varner with the scoop and score. And you know what? Why not? Let's give the Tartan student section some love as well. Because without them, it would be... Oh, some of the fans are saluting me here, but without the fans, it would just be a practice, and that wouldn't be any fun. But we had a lot of fun tonight here at Tartan High School. This is Mike Beaton thanking all of you for watching live coverage of high school football from Tartan and reminding you to help control the pet population, have your pets spayed or neutered. The Titans beat the Scots 38-0 to go to 1-1 on the season. We'll see you next Thursday for high school soccer at White Bear Lake. Until then, this is Mike Beaton saying thank you for watching.